next session, which actually is about how to decide the learning levels of our students, that is assessments. So on this particular topic, which is role of assessment, accreditation, evaluation and quality standard in higher education, the next panel discussion is going to be happening. For this particular round, I'd like to call on stage Dr. Bahamadi Mari Rao. So if I have taken your wrong namely, please forgive me. President, Institute of Advanced Research, Gandhinagar. Please give him a big round of applause. Pentaker, partner, Minerva United Kingdom. Hemant Sahal, founder and CEO, Corpol. Hemant Sahal. Professor Shyam Lal Soni, founder and Professor Shyam Lal Soni, Director, NIT Uttarakhand. Shyam Lal Soni, Director, NIT Uttarakhand. Professor A.M. Rawani, Director, NIT Raipur, Chhattisgarh. Please give him a big round of applause again. Professor Vibhuti Bhushan Biswal, Chairman, NIT Meghalaya. Professor Vibhuti Bhushan. Professor Rajat Muna, Director, IIT Bhilai. Dr. Vishwajit Sharma, Director, College Development Council. Dr. Vishwajit Sharma, is he here? So Dr. Rao, I am just handing over the session to you. Of one request, please keep it as short as possible.
Working? Good afternoon, colleagues.
So just a minute, we have an addition to this panel. Another speaker is here. He is Mr. Hemant Sahal, founder and CEO, Qualcomm. Yeah, please.
We are only just 2.5 hours behind schedule. We have had a long day, so we'll try and keep it succinct, but we will ensure we cover the topic. My name is Rahul Bamini Mare. I am director of a company in the UK based in Nottingham. But I have been spending quite a bit of time in India recently because we are doing a charity project, in a number of projects in Nepal and India, one of which is development of a research university in Gandhinagar in Gujarat. I myself am a trained quality auditor for QAA. In the UK we have a quality assurance agency which has got robust processes for monitoring and evaluating quality. We have got a fantastic panel here, but before that,
another.
Okay.
So he is Dr. Vishwajit Sharma, Director, College Development Council. So he will be another panelist here.
Welcome.
I think this is the complete panel here, no other additions will be there.
Very good. Welcome. Thank you. So the issue that we are developing in Gandhinagar is a very small research-oriented university. There are only about 500 students, but the research is well established and nationally and internationally recognized in selected areas, of course. It's a small place. It's an interesting, the reason I mention that is because the university is about the continuum. It is about training, education, research and development, and indeed translation. So when we talk of evaluation, articulation, accreditation and quality, what is it we are talking about? What activity of the university are we talking about? Important. It's my view that the quality cannot be just education quality, because education is linked to research, and research is linked to impact on the communities the university serves. We are very fortunate today. We have a number of very experienced people with a diversity of experience which covers quite a bit of this range. So please welcome all of them. For the next 30-40 minutes we'll try and keep it short because we are going there. Instead of me perhaps trying to introduce each of them, I'll let them introduce themselves briefly before we address the topic that is given to us. As I said, I am an academic, although I said I'm a director of a company. I used to run universities in New Zealand and also in the UK. I'm a chemical engineer, but most of the career is environmental applications. So that's what I am. Perhaps I start in my immediate right.
Hello. So my name is Ben Tucker. I'm the founding partner of a consultancy firm which focuses on working with higher education institutions all around the world. We're based in the UK, but our clients are global. And since I founded the company 6 years ago, we've worked with universities as far afield as Fiji, the Netherlands, Saudi Arabia, and USA. And the main services that we provide are leadership and management development training, and also recruitment services.
Hello everyone. I am Dr. A.M. Rawani, Director, National Institute of Technology, Raipur. National Institute of Technology is an institute of national importance. It is located in Raipur, Chhattisgarh, central part of the country, as you know. Our institute is offering undergraduate programs in almost all disciplines, I should say about 12 disciplines, and postgraduate programs also in 12 disciplines. Undergraduate intake students is more than 1,000, and total student population at a time is about 5,000 in the school. We are offering MTech programs as well as PhD programs also. As far as the institute is concerned, it was earlier government engineering college, having a history of more than 60 years, upgraded to National Institute of Technology in 2005. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hemant. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Colpol. We provide enterprise technology to education institutions in India, Africa, Malaysia and Dubai. Our core expertise is primarily around cloud-based mobile apps along with analytical capabilities.
Hi, this is Professor Vibhuti Bhushan Biswal. I am Director, National Institute of Technology, Meghalaya. National Institute of Technology, Meghalaya is a new institute set up in 2010 by Government of India. It's evolving. So far as this topic is concerned, regarding assessment, accreditation, quality education and all that, I have been an associate in these aspects in technical education for more than 10 years, and I have visited a large number of institutes across the country for assessment purpose, and I'll be speaking on the various aspects of assessment during this discussion. Thank you.
Good afternoon, friends. I am Rajat Puna, Director of IIT Bhilai. IIT Bhilai, as some of you might know, is one of the newest IIT. We just completed, as we sit today here, we have completed 3 years and 3 days. Just 3 days back, we had our 4th foundation day. Coming back to myself, I come from IIT Kanpur. I am a professor of computer science there and joined as director of IIT Bhilai just about 2.5 years back. IIT Bhilai is currently operating from Raipur in the Government Engineering College campus. We offer BTech, MTech and PhD programs in various engineering branches, and also PhD programs in sciences, mathematics and humanities.
I am Dr. Vishwajit Sharma. I am from Guwahati University. It's a 70-year-old university. I am the Director, College Development Council. So the annual intake of our university is more than 2 lakhs because we have got 400 plus affiliated colleges, and I personally look after those 400 colleges. It includes engineering colleges, general degree colleges, BA colleges, law colleges. So all types of colleges. So the colleges are also spread over a very large area, right from Bangladesh border to the main city of Guwahati. So all of them are having unique problems. So again, while considering the process of accreditation, quality and everything, so there is a huge difference from different colleges. So that is the main challenge we are facing, but even then, with all these activities, the Guwahati University is the pioneer university in the Northeast India. Thank you.
Thank you very much, colleagues. As I said, we will try and keep it brief, but certainly not escape from the casting and blocks. Now, the quality assurance, accreditation, evaluation are probably the most important activity in any educational institution. Indeed, any activity for that matter. But here we are here to talk about the education, so let's focus on that. The quality accreditation serves two purposes. One, we have to do things right as an institution. But equally importantly, we need to be seen to be doing things right. So the accreditation marks help us to be recognized to be doing things right, and the quality processes help us to be on track to do things right. So in that sense, both of them are very, very important. Last panel session we heard, of course, from HR professionals. In the so-called industry keeps complaining about the universities and colleges, about the preparation of students for job market. As educators, we have to reflect on that, but in reflecting that, we do not reduce ourselves to be training institutions. Education is not about necessarily just preparing people to fit into a specific job. Industry is not one industry. Industry is very diverse, and if industry comes and goes every 3 years, 5 years, whereas the half-life of education system is very long. If I take a student today, I put out the product after 5 years. So the world has changed in 5 years. That industry which defined the characteristics that I might have embraced might not even exist by then. If it exists, it might look completely different from 5 years ago. So it's a big challenge for the educators. And we also keep in mind, we are educating these young people for the next 50 years of their life, not to get a job upon graduation. So if we simply defer that responsibility, then we wouldn't be doing our job. It doesn't mean to say we don't listen to the industry and the employers. We must. So we must respond to them, but we should not be dictated by the needs of industry and employment of today. So that's, if you like, the basis on which we need to look at. In the context, we look at the curriculum, the quality of pedagogy, the learning and teaching, and the skills. Now, I have been an academic for 40 years at various levels, starting from a researcher through to the principal and deputy vice chancellor, and all those levels of roles. Interacted with, I'm an engineer, so I interact with the industry closely. I hear the same, but what they look for is more short term. Does the candidate have good communication skills? Does the candidate have good project management skills? Can he or she work in a team? And so on. But in reality, as educators, what we also should be looking at, because as I said, it's 50-year training that our education we are providing. So there are some higher level attributes that we must employ. They are, we would say, for example, empathy, social responsibility, creativity, innovation, resilience, more important, So these are very important recruitments for a successful graduate. And our challenge is to embrace all those and internalize those into not only the curriculum but the way we teach them, the environment in which we educate them, and so on. So curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular content is equally important. So with that background, what I will do is perhaps I will invite my colleagues to specifically comment on their own experience on this topic from different directions. Let me perhaps start with Professor Biswa.
Okay, thank you for giving me.
Just to perhaps prompt you, you are director of an NIT. We have numerous NITs, number of NITs across the country. So there is a system of NITs.
Yeah.
It would be helpful to us if you can comment on a system which benchmarks itself, which shares best practice, and from that viewpoint, if you can comment on quality assurance, quality enhancement, and of course education.
Okay. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about the NIT system as such. NIT system, as you are aware of, is completely autonomous system so far as this academic administration things are concerned. And academically, we follow every NIT. Every NIT follows its own, academic curriculum, academic regulations, and all that. Keeping in view that we have to be befitting to the status of national institutes of national importance. So that is the mandate that we have been given. So this quality as such depends upon so many factors. If you look at the stakeholders, every single stakeholder counts here. It not only depends upon the kind of curriculum that we enforce, but also it depends upon the kind of teaching and learning method, the kind of environment that we create, and the kind of consciousness that parents have, the kind of industry relations that we have, everything. So industries, parents, students, teachers, everybody counts for the quality. And especially in the morning session, people are talking about quality of faculty, which is not in good supply at the moment. So everybody is suffering, so also the NITs. And we need to look at that quality, because if you made the world-class curriculum out there, and if you are not able to implement, because the implementation happens through our facilities and through our faculty, which has to be ready for that kind of implementation. If there are implementation issues, you fail completely. Many years back, if I remember, my teacher was saying when they joined the academics, there was a initial period for training the teachers how to teach in the class. It's not about CT or BA training. It is about technical teachers also. Technical teachers of higher learning. So there was a training. Then I remember in the early 80s when I joined as a teacher, as a university teacher, that time NIT was not there. As a university teacher, the university regulation was like, I cannot be an examiner for 5 years. For 5 years I have to be on a probation so far as examinership is concerned. Not for job probation, but so far as examinership is concerned, I have to be, I have to wait for 5 years to become an examiner. Till that time, I have to be an assistant examiner or supporting to some other examiners who are experienced enough. So far as teaching is concerned, we are being given, we are not being given full load of a class. We are being, in the first year, we are supporting the senior teachers. So that was a part of a sort of training which is absent. Now people are coming out of universities and they are joining the, like they are, subjected to classroom teaching. Believe me, I have seen, the best of the researchers may not be good teachers. The best of the researchers may not be good implementers of the good curriculum. So we have to be careful. We have to take something into ourselves and allow them to learn what a quality education is, and then they should be given the teaching. Facilities at the university should be, whatever little or whatever facility we have, that should be at par with the curriculum. Industry involvement in the institute. In Meghalaya I had a very better experience. When I joined NIT Meghalaya director, I found that in the entire state there is no industry. But to talk about industry interaction. So I have to take help on, my parent state and other states. My friends are there. So I had to open certain things in the institute where I could get industry people in the institute, and there's a good bit of interaction. That is how I have implemented things in my NIT Meghalaya. So all these things have to be considered. And being an assistant for long years, as I told in my introduction, so I know the various parameters that need to be looked at for a good education system. And so far as the assessment is concerned, some people argue that we are NITs or we are IITs, and why should we be assessed by others? Thus, I don't accept this argument. Because, you teach the students, and at the end of the semester or at the end of the program, you do not take examination and issue them certificate. So that's not acceptable. So it has to be evaluated by somebody else, whether it's peer review or review by any external agency. So review is a must, assessment is a must, and accreditation is a good process.
So just to check what mutual support NITs give each other in enhancing the practice in each NIT.
As such, mutual support is not there in real sense. But as we meet together sometimes in different forums, we do discuss our matters. And or else, as I said, that we are very, very independent from each other, and we do implement our own things in the institute.
Thank you very much, Andy. Now let me bring Professor Ravani. I know has an interest in strategic management. Clearly, any organization is as good as its leadership. And leadership, of course, translates into strategy and management and implementation of that strategy. So I'd like to perhaps ask you to touch on the role of strategic management in enhancing the quality and therefore the quality benchmarks, accreditation, and so on.
Thank you very much. Before we discuss anything about the quality of higher education and accreditation, the most important point is that why at all the accreditation is required. The need of accreditation cannot be overlooked at all, because higher educational institutes are now having a lot of social pressures to make themselves prove that yes, they are providing good education. The students are also want to make informed choices. Before going to any institute, they want to know that what is the ranking of the institute, whether the program or the institute is accredited or not. With the accreditation, the institute gets an opportunity to analyze their weaknesses and strengths. They decide where to apply their resources, where to improve and all. So many reasons are there for going for accreditation. That is true. But the thing is that whether accreditation is going to help us is in quality standards of higher education. So for that, I would like to mention here that the accreditation process as such, though it has many advantages, but what I observe from the managerial angle, as moderator has rightly pointed out, from the strategic point of view and from the quality management point of view, if I say the whole process, accreditation is basically process-based evaluation. It is not outcome-based evaluation. What I mean to say, when some institute or some program is accredited, it means the parameters, if you look there, whether it is a NBA parameters or whether those are the NAC parameters, they are focusing more on the process. We are talking there about the program objectives, achievement of those objectives, students support, placement of the students. We are talking of all these things. Probably we are not focusing much when we talk about the accreditation. We are not focusing much on the outcome of that. The requirement of the industry, that is what was the discussion in the previous panel, that the requirements of the industry is not taken care of. So if you look into the definition of the quality, the definition of the quality says that it is fitment for use, fitment to the requirement of the customer. And if we say that the customers are the industry or the society, then we must look at their requirements. Those parameters must have more focus, then only we can target in achieving the quality, what we can call as a quality. As far as the present accreditation process is concerned, as I said, is no doubt needed, is giving an opportunity for upliftment, for improvement of the institute. But all is a kind of inward process where the institute has certain targets, certain objectives. We find out, or the team which visits, they find out whether those objectives has been met or not, whether the process is properly documented or not. But we are focusing less on whether the requirements of the industry is met or not. So that component has to be added there.
Thank you very much indeed. I think that neatly follows on to the implementation issues. A point is already made about the staffing, faculty availability, the quality of people to help us drive the institutions forward. Let me bring Ben Tucker, who is a specialist in people, really, executive search and then people and organizational development. And then what role the staff development in general will play in supporting the institute's enhancement in terms of the achievement, quality, and also accreditation.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a few points following on from that, which I think chime well with your own thoughts. The first thing I want to say, though, is that I speak to you as somebody who has a huge fascination and interest in the Indian higher education system, but I recognize that you are the experts and that you know it much better than I do in all of its diversity. And so I'm offering you my thoughts as somebody who spends a lot of time with universities all around the world, and this is really what I see elsewhere. Just a few points. First of all, it seems to me that any system of accreditation or assessment or quality needs to ensure that at its heart it's about enhancement, it's about improvement rather than policing. And I think this is critical because many systems have been based on policing, ideas of policing. They come from a deficit model rather than an improvement model. The second thing I would say is that we have to be careful as these systems develop and become more Byzantine and bureaucratic, that we keep a clean brain, the right brain in our approach to them. One Vice-Chancellor in another country complained to me recently that the higher education system had been taken over by the assessment industry. By which he was observing that this whole industry around, measuring every single thing you do. In some countries, I think this has become out of control, and if we're not careful, the missions of our universities become all around how do we manage the processes of assessment, rather than are we actually making a transformative difference to our students' lives. Are we conducting excellent research? Are we changing society? And I think somehow we have to make sure that we keep saying in that context. The third thing is, I think these systems, and in a sense it links in with my first point around enhancement, these systems have to take place in the context of change. It's all about organizational change and how our universities are developing to improve their quality. And following on from that, I think we all recognize that it isn't the systems, it isn't the initiatives that produce change. It's the leaders and the people in our institutions that bring about change. It's the way that these systems are sponsored and the way that the change is delivered in the institution. In my career, I've worked with universities, in and around universities, for 25 years. In fact, ever since I finished my undergraduate degree at the University of Oxford, all of my work has been with the university sector. And the thing I'm struck by is how similar the patterns and challenges of organizational development and leadership development are in the university sector all over the world. I don't think any of you need me to tell you how difficult it is to lead a university. They have peculiar challenges in terms of how do you achieve anything like a degree of consensus or cohesion of thinking amongst your academic community. How do you inspire them? How do you develop cultures of accountability? How do you develop cultures of a student focus in how things are delivered? Often the challenges are even simpler than that. How do academics learn how to budget? How do they learn how to plan how their departments are going to work and their faculties are going to work? And at a higher level, and in a sense the most critical question, how do they develop strategy? And I think this is the real key focus for me. So my singular encouragement for you, as it seems that the Indian higher education sector is beautifully poised to play a really significant role in the next 10 to 20 years in India as it develops, is please don't overlook the importance of leadership and leadership development as a critical factor in developing quality in your institutions. And I realize that time is very short here, so I'll finish now, but this is a conversation that I would love to continue with anybody after this session is over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. Can I now invite Professor Hemant Sahal to probably link this to his interests and indeed expertise in the MIS, the business analytics, the information, and their role in supporting the objective of enhancing not only the quality but also performance of higher education institutions.
Yeah, all right, thanks. I wish I was a professor. I am not. So I'm going to give a perspective through the lens of an entrepreneur and not an academician. So if you look at accreditation, quality and the topic, we have got two key things at the center: people and data. And I think however blasphemous it sounds, I think institutions should stop looking at accreditation and rankings beyond marketing and compliance. Because a lot of times we look at the rankings like, okay, this is the research output of the university, and then you go, it doesn't meet the reality. So I think institutions should do that, and they should they should just stop at saying that, okay, it's a part of marketing, it's a part of compliance, but let's have a reality check internally. Where people are very important, because most of the institutions have teams outside their internal teams who are actually working for them on these accreditation and ranking purposes. Which means that the actual stakeholders, the heads of different functions, do not have any role to play other than data collection for this. So they do not connect at all. So if I am the head of research, I really need to know the reality of the research output of my institution. And that's where data plays a role, because most of the time we are only looking at the explicit data, which is we will do surveys, collect data, and then that would tell us that, okay, this is what our ranking output is, this is our student satisfaction rates, this is our, the quality of our infrastructure. We are not looking at the implicit data, which is very important, because as it said, if you beat data enough, it will confess anything. So you can always collect the data in a way you would want it to be shown outside in the world. And that's where technology can play a role, where good technologies used every day in institutions could generate a lot of implicit data, which would actually give you a real picture of what's going on. How happy are my students? How much time does my faculty get to do good quality research? What kind of other burdens I'm putting on my teachers where they're not able to actually do research? What kind of infrastructure I'm providing to my researchers? What kind of budgets I'm providing to my to my researchers? A lot of that would actually be clear only when we are looking at implicit data, because surveys, especially in the Indian higher education, where there's always a fear in the mind of teachers and students to express themselves in the surveys and give their opinions, would always result, it's like you will always get to see what you get to see, because nobody would really explicitly tell you what's the reality. So I think that's where technology can play a big role in quality and accreditation and other purposes, where when people use it for their everyday activities, the kind of data that gets generated would tell us the real picture.
Thank you very much indeed. Even the greatest universities on earth are weakest in using data. Universities collect loads and loads of data, but they don't do anything with it. And I think the support systems, technology driven particularly, will help us take forward. Now, can I look forward and invite Professor Muna, who is actually championing a very new institution. And the challenges are very different. There is no history, there is no legacy. But creating on a greenfield side is a completely new challenge. So I would be interested if he can help us with his views on what approach is he taking in establishing the sound infrastructure, so the institute actually starts on a sound footing rather than retrofit.
Thank you. I think I would start with the following thing to say. Any university, new or old, should not lose focus on what our goals are. And in my opinion, there are exactly two roles for any university: knowledge acquisition, knowledge dissemination. The moment we actually lose sight on any of these, we actually do brilliantly. And with that in mind, actually look at, for example, things like assessment, things like, in fact, a very interesting thing, the previous panel which was there, people were talking about HR and placement and all that, and here they are only talking about assessment. In the previous panel, there were 9 panelists, 5 of them were women. In this panel, we have 7 people, all of them are men. It's clear, one thing is very, very clear. Assessment quality is a man-made problem. Now, when I say this, actually strongly believe that assessment, quality, insurance of quality, all these are secondary parameters. They will keep happening. Wasting resources for ensuring that you actually win on the quality parameters in my opinion, is an absolutely undesirable element on any campus. Why? Because it brings unnecessary competition, which is not a healthy environment for any knowledge acquisition. Knowledge acquisition should be the primary focus. And I must also say this, knowledge acquisition, and I'm actually saying this, it's not the knowledge dissemination. Knowledge acquisition is a primary focus for any university. Knowledge acquisition is always in the form of researchers acquiring new knowledges, in the form of teachers doing excellent research and therefore producing certain things, in the form of people solving problems which are impact making. Every student around you will actually get the fragrance of this knowledge acquisition, and knowledge dissemination will happen automatically. In order to do this knowledge acquisition, my fellow colleagues have talked about how we train the teachers. I don't want to call my faculty members as teachers. They are my knowledge partners. When they are my knowledge partners, they are equal learners, and therefore they acquire knowledge and then they disseminate. How does one acquire knowledge? Not necessarily by the training program. Some like training program, some like listening program, some like management program, and various kinds of things. Invariably, I have seen this, and I have actually taken part in many knowledge training programs for faculty. We end up teaching faculty their subject. We are actually doing the wrong thing. Subject is one thing that they will actually learn by themselves. They have done their PhD, they have done their education in that. Giving a proper nudge to that direction, they will pick it up by themselves. What we really need to tell them is what are the parameters, what are the values that you can actually impart by doing right kind of things. And I think this is what is important. And in that process, a new education institute, we actually look forward to people who can actually take this message, who can actually sense the environment, who can smell the environment and get the values out of it to disseminate to their students. It's a learning place for faculty. Because if the faculty learns, the student will automatically learn. So this is my so.
Thank you very much indeed for reminding us of the primary purpose, the primary objective of education institution. Rest of all, of course, the facilitating. Can I now request Professor Vishwajit Sharma, who has had a diverse experience from research into academia and now, of course, to perhaps briefly comment on his views on the accreditation quality measures in developing the organization.
Accreditation process. Now it has been a mandatory clause for institutions to get the funding. I am talking about mainly the state government funding institutes, because these institutes are mainly looking at the funds to be provided by the government. So when there is a case of NIT or there is a case of IIT, at the time of birth, it has got a identity. That it is going to be funded, it is going to be a good institution, it is going to be a pioneer institute in the country. So it has already been established at the time of its birth. But you see the colleges, or you can say the grassroots level of the higher education, because higher education starts with the colleges. So before the accreditation process started, the colleges care to even keep documentation of their activities. Even if you go to any college which was established 40 years back or 30 years back, they don't even can provide you their certificate of affiliation or their all establishment certificate. So this accreditation system has at least created a sense of responsibility to the colleges at the grassroots. The thing is that the entire system is not equal or cannot be generalized sense. It will be cannot be generalized. So there are certain, in my area, I have seen, so there are some colleges where you cannot hold classes after 12. And when this case comes, the colleges, the policies which we are making for the colleges in Delhi or in Guwahati, it cannot be implemented here. And while considering the scoring factors in the accreditation system regarding the placement, so what can you expect? What type of placement activities can we expect from a college which runs a simple BA or BSc level courses? So that is, but in that case, during the application process, this college will get very low mark in this. So accordingly, their grade will be fallen, and if it comes up to C, then they are not eligible for any type of grants from the government. And one very important thing is that I have seen in many colleges, the suggestions from the accrediting agencies are almost same to go for PG classes. In government colleges, we are having maximum 3 section posts in every college. Maximum 3. And those who are lucky, they are having 4. The thing is that, how can they go for PG classes? But again, they are pressing us to open PG and PG classes because the accrediting agencies are looking for this and they will be awarding marks on the basis of this. So while since morning, I have seen in all the discussions, when industry oriented, so all these things have been brought up. So many times, here you see, this is mainly technical education. So I am talking about the grassroots level of college. But it has been very difficult for me also because I am a product of IIT Roorkee. So I did my master's and PhD from IIT Roorkee. I was a professor in IIT Bangkok. Then also, the director of disaster management. But after coming to this course, it has been very difficult to understand their problem and then again to implement the policies onto these policies.
Thank you so much for my colleagues have addressed various issues related to quality accreditation and their importance in our approach that we must take. So let me perhaps, without dragging this further on, because we have been told so many times that we are running over time. So let me close that, but before I close, it's my duty to invite you to thank our panelists for their contribution and for sharing their experience and expertise. Thank you very much indeed. And more importantly, thank you indeed for persisting till nearly 6:15 to sit here for a long day and being part of this session. Thank you very much.
So please